We'll let the countdown go there and just about ready to get everybody all locked and loaded for the show. Monarchs Mocha, glad you're along. And a five, a four, and a three, and a two, and we can bring that down. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. For the team, it's morning, still very early morning. For you folks, it's lunchtime. Let's roll the open in three, two, one. Monarchs Mocha. I just realized I'll need about a dozen of those right there. I mean, it's going to be one of those days. Boy, I, I dang near didn't even do the show, and I was up. So it was one of those deals where um, the road won, and oh well. But we're here, we're up and we're at them, and we're ready to go. Let's get you caught up. What's going on here? First, let me bring the screen graphic up right there, and bring this down. And yeah, I do have that morning sound to me. And feeling fine. There we go. Feeling fine. Got a little different lighting today here, as you can see. And I did mention we would probably do the show from the hotel. If we did a show, we did, and we're doing one. So we're doing with the we're doing good with the lights. Still got my bus warmth on. Team arrived about 7:50. A smooth ride across Wisconsin and Minnesota, and here in North Dakota off 94, through Milwaukee and through the Twin Cities. Let's see what else you went through. The Wisconsin Dells, Rapids, all that. Anyway, arriving here and we had a little trouble. Usually, when you arrive in a city on a two-city tour, not usually, but the way the protocol is, for example, when a team comes to Kansas City and they're coming from another city that's not their home city, and in this case, we were coming from Milwaukee, not our home city, the rooms are usually blocked out, and the protocols to block those out the night before, right? So that way, in case there's a rain out for, let's say there's a monsoon in Milwaukee, or for whatever, we get here early, the rooms are already ready when we get in. So, in technicality, is the rooms are reserved on a two-city swing the day prior. So let's say Fargo was coming from Cleburne to play us in Kansas City, they'd be actually blocked out the night before. And that's, even though we didn't check in until the next morning, they're already blocked out. And, well, they have a wrestling tournament going on here and some other stuff. This is a very vibrant area of this part of the country. It's kind of the hub of activity. And well, lo and behold, we were rooms weren't ready this morning, and I don't know if they double sold them. I don't know what happened there, but if they thought we just didn't show or what. I do know we've not made an announcement yet, but there is a player that checked into the hotel that wasn't with us, and so that person got in with the team, but rest of us didn't. So anyway, that's one of the things that happens on the road. Once in a while, that happens. That happened today. It's the team didn't really get checked into about 10 something. And the way it works, to pull the curtain back for you folks that want to know about our travel, the way it works is the most important person today is Lewis Thorpe going as your starting pitcher. He's the first guy. Really tonight, the second most important person today, and maybe in this case equal to him, is the bus driver, Michael. He drove all night, and he was right there at his, not quite there, but he was pushing his limits on, personal fatigue, the Department of Transportation numbers, all that. He was way below it, but still, I mean, you drove all night. You're the only one up for the most part until once the guys get the card game done, they go to sleep. So, by the way, I don't know if I can see your questions or comments. I'll have to pull those up. I've got that you guys are watching, so if you have something to say, fire away, and hopefully it'll pop up here on the screen. because I'm charging my watch with my phone right now. It's a neat little trick. But anyway, and then the players, basically, obviously, the guy who pitched last night, your starter probably, really the priority. The last one would be your broadcaster and incidental staff like that. And that's not an offensive thing. That's just a fact. I'm not playing tonight. I do have broadcast work to do, but it's that's what you do. So anyway, team got checked in. Thankfully, got free breakfast, which was good. Really good breakfast this morning. A little bit later bus today, but for a 7 o'clock start tonight here in Fargo. 7:02, but it's 7 o'clock here tonight. Lefties tonight, it'll be Lewis Thorpe going for Kansas City. He'll be facing tonight. Their left-hander is Peyton Wigington. Their TBA tomorrow, and then I believe, let me double check if I've got this correctly. Tomorrow they're TBA. Sunday they're Davis Feldman, and they come in with a 2-game lead. Does Fargo Mocha? They did sweep Sioux Falls over the course of the week. Monarchs dropped 3 of 4 and come in 2 games back. Best record in the league now. I mean, it's one of those things between Fargo, Chicago, and Kansas City. You throw those 3 names in a hat, and that's who's got the best record in the league, or tied for the best record in the league, and who's on top of their division. Now, in Chicago's case, they have a 10-game lead. In Fargo's case, they have a 2-game lead. I would also tell you that the schedule has not been kind to the Monarchs and won't be for a while. Kansas City in this stretch of this road series comes home for 3 more, then goes out the road again, then comes home for 3, and then comes on the road again. It's back and forth like that for the next couple of weeks. And then August, there'll be a couple of longer series, but also some long road trips mixed in. But the bulk of your road series are ahead. You've got 25 more road games ahead after last night. So you've got a bulk of your road schedule still sitting in front of you, or at least half of it. Although, you got to play the games, and Kansas City's got to play the games, and Fargo's got to play the games, and this is part of the thing. You traveled, and you had a lot. The schedule had a heavy dose of games at home. We had those back-to-back weeks. Haven't seen Andy Lee, our baseball chaplain, it seems like in forever, because we hadn't had a Sunday game in forever. So that's just part of what happens in this league, part of the schedule. I think it's also what happens when you're the furthest team south in a division that goes north. Now, Cleveland used to be that, but now they're in that division of Chicagoland. Their travel's pretty brutal. But if you're Milwaukee, I don't know, let's see here. Who was playing last night? It was King County and Lake Country. Those are all short johns, right? Now, Cleveland had the long john up to Gary, Indiana, but by and large, Sioux Falls was hosting Fargo. That's about 3 hours south of here. There's maybe 2.5 hours south here, something like that. Sioux City was in Lincoln. So we drew the kind of short straw, but that's part of the game, part of it. So anyway, we'll take your questions and comments. For some reason, I'm not seeing them up on the board. Let me see if let me just pull them up here while we're chatting. Let's see if I can get those up for you. For some reason, they're not showing up on my chat line here. And let's just do this. And do this. All right, well. Let's just do this. Well, I guess no one has any questions or comments, so it's all good. Oh, here we go. Make it a little cooler, David says. David, I'll do my best. Don't know what I can do to help you out there. I got to tell you, not terrible weather. And it's going to be, I believe, let's see here, weather for Fargo. For us, let's just see here, put this back. There we go. There we go. Weather going to be like, sorry about the lights there, folks. Sorry. kind of a little out of it. 86 today is the temperature, high of 89, tomorrow 81, Sunday 74. So much milder here. And I got to tell you, when I got up started a winning streak tonight. Dan, I'm with you on that. Um, it was cold in the bus, and I'm wearing two layers. It got a little cold in the bus. We got off this morning at 7:45 or so here, and it was mild. It was very mild. It definitely had a little crisp fallish feel to it. Remember, we came here for the postseason last year. It was breezy at night, it was the high 40s or low 50s. So Jim says, I missed the update on John Hernandez. What can I tell you about John? John is 4 to 6 weeks. It's a shoulder situation. Injured on Wednesday during batting practice. The team, Milwaukee's got a really cool setup where they've got an indoor cage, indoor baseball training facility that's open to the public. They were over there hitting before the team had a voluntary BP, which everybody wanted to hit. So it was basically 2 sessions of BP. And John hurt his shoulder there, kind of a freak thing that Joe told us last night at the top step. We didn't know anything more until last night because I presumed it was a shoulder, an arm issue because he was walking with the team. He was in the dugout Wednesday evening when he was scratched the lineup card. He was sent home to Kansas City yesterday and looked at, I believe, by the team doctors yesterday. And the initial report is 4 to 6 weeks. I don't know if that timeline will be faster or slower. It's just what they say. I would lean toward it being a little on the 4 side. David says 104, 105, 108, 108. Oh my goodness. Gee. Sounds like a DFW day. Yikes, that's today through next Wednesday. But yeah, Jim, that's the situation. So John, not with the team, and the team will have to go forward for the foreseeable future without John Hernandez, who is having an MVP Triple Crown type season for this ball club. And it was an emotional day. And of course, this has already been an emotional 10 days. You lost Gabby Guerrero to retirement, a week and a half. Well, it was announced last Thursday, but and Gabby decided after the All-Star game. So you've had that loss and John's loss. So those are a couple of big pieces that you're missing, and different reasons, but they're very emotional. Do I think the guys had trouble with artificial turf? I watched on Facebook Live and saw them try to dig inside the batter's box. Hey, how was Facebook Live? I did loan them some a plug to use, so that's why we didn't have our audio last night. But no, I don't think the guys like it in general. What I did notice last night, Karen, there was a couple plays for them, and it really you saw this toward the end of the series for us, where outfielders were coming in on a ball that they might normally try to charge a little quicker and then make a last-second call about diving or not, where guys were putting the brakes on earlier because you got burned by diving too late, because that field turf does bounce, and you do get a higher bounce, what I call a turf bounce. And we saw it, I believe, in the opener, and we saw it again on Wednesday. That happened. But last couple nights, especially from their end, you saw their guys come in and put the brakes on a little bit earlier than I think, because they realized that coming in and diving for it is going to probably bounce over them. So they come in and put the brakes on. I did talk to a couple of guys. For the most part, everyone was wearing metal spikes. David Thompson told me that this field he thought was slippery. Now, the area I was in around BP, it was a little firmer, but that more rolled area was a little slipperier, as I said last on the broadcast. Also, there's a few more of those black pellets are there. If you saw the ball, Karen, when you saw the ball land on video last night, you go back and watch that, you'll see little black pellets pop up. But I don't think it was in the pitchers like the mound for the most part. It was much, Lake Country is a little bit shaggier and it was a little harder to grip on. They felt this one was pretty good. And I don't think that the turf had much to do with it, really. I think just, you didn't have some things go right that have been going right. You had a couple of ball games. One you did win, but you had 2 first innings where you gave up 7 and 6. And when you give up 7 runs and 6 runs the first inning, you got a lot of time left. You put a lot of pressure on that offense and to A, score runs, and the pitching staff B, to hold them down. And that's what didn't happen last night. Last night, they kept putting runs up. It was 9-1 for the Monarchs to blink an eye. It was 1-0 Kansas City, and a bounce of a double play ball worked out for them. Could have been a big inning for KC, get the 1 run, but didn't give up 7, and they wound up going up 9-1. But you do get back to 9-5. And when you got to 9-5, they came back and scored 2 more runs, made it 11-5. You got it to 11-7. They came back and scored 3 more runs, made it 14-7. So those 5 runs halted your comeback. And really, the difference in the ball game from that night and the one you fell behind 2 nights ago was that 2 nights ago you fell behind and you locked them down. You flat out locked them down. They didn't score again until that 9th inning, and you were scoring all the runs, and that didn't happen last night. So, oh no. Chris, hate to hear that, mate. We're going to have a big weekend. Watch the games, and my girlfriend tested positive for COVID, so we're in for the weekend. Well, I guess you'd convince her to take a nap during our games. I am that boring. It's very boring on our broadcasts and our chats. You could just hey, honey, would you want to take your naps? You're going to get rested, and you can sneak off and watch the game. I don't know. You want to watch as a couple, though, right? Yeah, man. I hope you guys get better. Prayers for that. There's a bit of a strain going around some places. I think I mentioned this, that Milwaukee, when they came to Kansas City, when they left, they had a bunch of guys come down, and one of them was Will Kinger and their manager, Anthony Barone, and both those guys told me they struggled a little bit after that Kansas City series. Chris says the American Association has a salary cap, right? Yes. Do the managers, coaches' salaries? No. Those are separate deals. As a matter of fact, whenever Joe Calpietro's contract's redone, we usually announce that, and it's a separate deal running on a 2-year window. Usually it's a 2-year deal with the rollovers, I believe. It's an extension. So Joe got an extension last year, and so but the players basically play on a series of 1-year contracts. We had this come up when Jamison McGrain played out his option. It's a great example. Jamison is playing out this existing contract option with the chance to be a free agent next year. That doesn't mean he won't re-sign with the Monarchs. When a guy has a player option in this league, you'll see these options. Player A has his option picked up by the Monarchs. It's just basically it's an extension of that contract he had before. It's his old contract. It's just an easier way to do business. But no, the managers, and in general, the manager sets the staff, field staff. It's sort of like that in most collegiate sports. Some NFL teams will do it this way. A lot of some major league clubs will do it too. But you'll have a manager who'll come in and he'll say, okay, you're going to get paid X amount of dollars, and you're going to have X amount of dollars for your staff. How you divvy it up is up to you. Now, that's kind of that happens a lot more at this level than it does in Major League Baseball. And also, it tends to happen more in the college football ranks where, you'll see a new guy gets X amount of dollars, $1 million for his staff, and you got to divvy it up how you see fit. But Joe kind of takes care of, when Joe's signed, he basically works out the deal with the staff, tells, Jay Hendricks in this case, who he wanted, and these are Joe's guys. John West and Bill Sobey, and of course Frank White, those are his guys. And those guys all came together when Joe took over in 2017, and they're very close, very, very close. Other good questions here for you folks. Good stuff here. Tonight's broadcast, I've already did a lot of research for it. Thankfully, I jumped on that last night. I couldn't sleep initially on the bus, and I got a couple things done. And actually, yesterday afternoon, I got ahead for today. I have broken down Buck O'Neill's life, which you can't do this in 3 segments, but I'm going to try, and they're all going to be long, probably 7 or 8 minute long segments. But Buck O'Neill's life in 3 parts because he goes to the Hall of Fame on Sunday. That'll be on Monarchs 101 this weekend. I just think it's the time, and really, you could almost do a nightly. You could almost do a nightly Buck O'Neill something because of all the things he accomplished as a player, as a manager, as a young man growing up, the segregated South, getting his education. You could go into his scouting days, his time, even his time with the Royals late. His time. There's so many things he was doing. And you could really almost throw a nightly Buck O'Neillism in there. That'll be a Monarchs 101 tonight. Part 1 tonight, I'll preview a little bit right here, growing up on a celery farm down in Florida. And earlier you said there was Mountain Lake Country Shaggy. Would they soak it with beer? Yes, yes, and yes. Probably so. It was very, as some of it was because it was wet. There was a little issue with being wet, but there was a little hard. They were having a harder time on that mound there at Lake Country. The mound in Texas is a natural mound, and they've had trouble there. And their trouble is there's no need for a groundskeeper. You have field turf, right? It's your baseball operations folks sort of, or your stadium operations folks sort of do the maintenance on that to a degree. But it's the beautiful thing about field turf is it sort of babysits itself. As long as you have the pellets out there and you roll the thing once in a while, you pretty much, it takes care of itself. The mound's a different animal. If you have a natural mound, you've got to work on your mound. And in Cleveland's case, they actually have one of their veteran Cervenka works the mound to get it up to snuff. But yeah, beer could have been the problem. It could have been cheese curds, which we learned last night and the night before. We learned they were fried cheese, but in the process of making cheese when a curd, or makes it a curd, it's fried cheese nuggets is what they were, and they were okay. I had to have a little ranch with them. I like my cheese spicy, and the fried cheese a little spicier with some marinara, or in this case had a little ranch. But hey, they were fine. It's just I had those last night, but and then we also we were eating fried cheese, eating said fried cheese curds. We discovered that a lot of guys are wearing the metal spikes. But anyway, good stuff there, Sneedo. Could be the beer. Could have been the cheese curds. Could have been the chocolate milkshake. No, I don't know if they had milkshakes there in Lake Country, to be honest with you. But anyway, yeah, we'll talk about Buck tonight. Monarchs 101 with DV. That's the Masters class brought to you by the Negro Leagues. Not brought to you by, but part of the thing you learn from the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. This show is brought to you by the Roastery Coffee Company. 6 locations. And boy, do I need a nitro. I need like a nitro coffee infusion or a bucket, because I am sort of hitting that wall here, and I need to get going. Try to fight through it today. The light behind me. I know if I do this, I like the lighting when I kind of get a little closer, but still have that, had that long night bus ride face working for me, but all good. Maybe so, I don't know. We could probably, maybe we can discuss that in our next trip to Wisconsin. Maybe I'll ask that tonight, because I know some of you folks will know. I don't think all cheese curds are fried. Just a variety of them. Okay. Everyone I've ever seen, though, seems like they're fried. Now, what's really good, and we didn't do this last night, but I've done this before. We will, and when my mom and I drove from O'Hare to Green Bay to watch the Cowboys and Packers, I pulled over and got some wonderful cheese and snacks at some roadside, like the Love's truck stops and convenience stores. But they have these sections of Wisconsin. They're everywhere up here. And we didn't stop overnight last night, leaving Milwaukee, but they're everywhere I say up here, up this direction. Broadcast glow. Yeah, sort of like that. I like the lighting. See, if I open the lights, these lights, it's going to be real bright. And I had one over here that had 2 lights, but then I moved. I thought, so I did this, see? But doing this kind of gives me a little bit of a lighting behind me. Anyway, under the, I don't know. That's a good question, Jim. I would imagine that call went out. Joe did not tell me that, but I would think just knowing, Joe's a very thorough guy. He's a very calculated and thorough person. He's not a throw at the wall and see if it sticks kind of guy. His plan has worked, and he knows it's worked. And we all know it works. I would imagine he's reached out, and there's probably I did ask him about Ibn al-Isabel. I think I told you guys a couple of nights ago that his visa still hangs in limbo. And when you're dealing with the U.S. government and it comes to visas this day and age, and having dealt with the visas for Gary a couple of years ago and getting into Canada, it can be easy or it can be a real pain. And it just kind of depends. And I can tell you, my dealing with visas myself, I'll give you a great example, is my visa for Australia a few years ago went through Washington, D.C., and went to the High Commission in Ottawa for this part of the world, for the Commonwealth of Australia. And even though I was in the same part of the world, it was easier for me to get a response from Canberra, the capital of Australia, from the other side of the globe. And actually, my response was coming from Tasmania, where their actual visa processing center is for the Canadian government. For the Australian government, pardon me, not Canadian government. And you'd think, well, it should be easier in this side of the world because I was over here, but it was actually easier for me. And the red tape can be something fierce. For example, all it takes is one person to not know what a word is, and they just ship it back. And this happened to me where Australia hires different nationalities who are working to get their visa, and they're working for the government and part of a work program to get them to get into Australia. And they're in Washington. They had some folks from, I believe they were from Egypt or from around, I think it was Egypt, if I remember correctly. And the woman didn't understand baseball, what that meant, what my job meant. And it was very confusing for her. And it basically got shifted to finally somebody from England saw it, and they were sort of knew what it meant. And they finally found somebody that worked in the embassy that was American that knew what I was talking about. So there's that. But yeah, I would imagine, Jim, that Joe's reached out to any and every parties. And I know Jay Hendricks, I'm sure, is working hard on that to help him out. I've not heard anything at all, but it would make, there's definitely something. There'll be a roster edition tonight, and I'll tell you about that tonight on Monarchs Live. I do expect a roster edition tonight or tomorrow, but I don't think it'll be from a pitching position, not from a fielding position. But that's probably going to happen too. The one saving grace about some of this, though, Jim, is you've got some space. Now, the one juggling thing you got to do, Jim, is balance the veteran LS 1, 2, 3, 4 and rookie classifications to make sure those match up. But unlike years past, where you'd lose a player, gain a player, the Monarchs are already a little thin anyway. So it's and all teams have been sort of in that same boat. So let's see here. Well, Chris, I'll have to give old Price Chopper a check out. I'm not a cheese guy. I mean, of the appetizers on the menu, when I go to a said restaurant at the sports pub or whatever, and there's the appetizer menus, they all got the fried cheese. It's not, now my wife loves the fried cheese. She loves the fried cheese. My girls love the fried cheese. My mom loves the fried cheese. I usually would go for something else. That's just me, but that doesn't mean I don't like it. I'm kind of, that's okay. I'm the one that goes to the thing like we're someplace with the Mason jar there in Kansas City has the chicken lollipop things, and they're good. They're like big chicken wings. They're good. That's what I go for. I go for things like that, or something that's different. I'll go for the char grilled oysters in New Orleans, or any place that's got fresh oysters, before I will go for the fried cheese. I put cheese on the fried. I'll tell you what's good, Sneedo, is my little oyster nacho type things. And I had oyster nachos in a restaurant in Dallas when I was home. But what I do is I'll take a shuck the oyster, open it up, put them on the grill, put some paste pecani sauce on there or some salsa, whatever you want to call it, some cheese and a jalapeno, and put on the grill, or you can bake those in the oven. They come out They're called oysters Laredo, and they're great. And that there's a combination of cheese, but I'm more the exotic app guy. That's just me. Okay. Anyway, but yes. Hello, GM. Lovely wife. You wish what? What do you wish? That was not that you wish cheese? No, you like cheese. But again, there is a place, and there is a place, Chris, that I love wings, and one of the best, probably the best wing in the Metroplex is okay, is a place called Pluckers. They're out of Austin. They have them at the Globe Life Field. Pluckers has a really good fried cheese, and I can't describe it, but it's really, really, it's phenomenal. It's the way it's good. Actually, it's really not a fried. It's fried cheese, but what it is, it's fried macaroni and cheese. That's what it is. It's fried cheese like a stick, but it's macaroni and cheese. That's their version of fried cheese. So you get all wild from Worcester because they're yeah. Well, there's Memphis. There's Memphis. There's a song by maybe it was Memphis. I think that's what it was. Pam Tillis. Maybe it was Memphis. Yeah, Holy Mac is the bomb. It's that may be the bomb diggity of fried cheese if you were talking curds here. Yeah, I see what you guys on Jim's comments. Okay, all right. Well, I hit the wall, and I'm gonna find me some roastery coffee or the next best thing up here, wherever I can find around these parts. There's actually the grocery store next shopping center over has got what's the local coffee company that's in this part of the country? Anyway, I'll go over there and grab me coffee. You guys are crazy. See, GM and Stito, you guys turned my baseball show into a PG-13 laugh track on a Thursday night NBC sitcom. That's what this is. This might be a good sitcom. Anyway, I have traveled with the Can Nitro. I was just out, and I actually left 2 cans when I packed up. What night was that? Saturday night. We didn't leave till we packed up Saturday night. We didn't load up didn't leave till 2 a.m. on Sunday/Monday, and it did slip my mind. And I realized when I got to the bus, but then I'm thinking, well, I'll be up all night if I drink the nitro. But yeah, it'd have been nice. I should have grabbed what I should have done is grab some from Collectivo there in Milwaukee a couple of days ago. And that's usually what I do. I'll go to the Mill Coffee Company in Lincoln. I always was usually we leave Lincoln and we're going somewhere else. I'll do that. But let's see here. Yeah, I go get it. W40. Yes, mini fridge in the booth. Yes, we have a mini fridge. You know what? When we do the show next week, we get home, I'll give you a little tour of the mini fridge in the booth because it's actually unique. The mini fridge is nothing special, but it's a mini fridge. But on top of it is my Nespresso machine, where I play the poor man's George Clooney as the sponsor or the spokesperson for Nespresso Kansas City. Well, Nespresso American Association. He's the actual spokesperson for Nespresso. I'm just the fake one. Yes. Thank you, Keith. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, mate. Appreciate it. All right, everybody. We'll see you all tonight in the broadcast. We'll be back to normal broadcast tonight. Last night. Now, some of you did see last night. We were apparently, and here's something funny. There were like 40 viewers on the stream last night of no audio. How about that? Yeah, bizarre. We didn't have any audio. We still had people watching our stream. I don't know what the league had, and I know what they had, but I'm like, there was 40 people there watching no audio. I was kind of, I mean, maybe it was 38. It was 38 or 40. But tonight, back to normal here tonight. Facebook Live did wonderful. I'm sorry here. Facebook Live did wonderful comments about host families. I'm trying to think what you. Yeah, sorry to hear about your girlfriend, Snito. Dan Hart, Facebook Live comments about host families. We can't survive without them. As a matter of fact, Dan, I will give you this. I had a friend of mine from Australia contact me overnight, and he was asking me about our host family program. And he's a coach of a team that's in the state league over there, and he was asking me about our host families. And I basically said we couldn't survive without them. That's what I told him. And but yeah, so you know how I feel about you guys. Maybe I don't say it enough, or maybe I think maybe I don't say it enough. But you guys are very valuable, and as everybody is valuable. Everybody means something to the organization, and host families mean a lot as well. And appreciate what you guys do. It's a matter of fact. I was talking to who was I talking to about this? Oh yeah, you guys know this the Greers, who we love dearly, Bill and Donna Greer, BJ and Donna. Of course, they told us a few weeks ago they sold their house, and Nick Belzer had to move. And he was just talking about how great it was. It was a seamless transition to his new location. And I forget where he told me he went, but he was telling me what a seamless transition, because both families were great and they worked together, all friends. And just, something like that happened. It was so smooth, and just the fact that, and I saw too this week when Roy Morales came through, he stopped over at Bill and Donna's and took pictures. He and his girlfriend had a dinner and a little catch up, and that's just what you do. You guys do a great job. What else we got here? Max says he's getting off. Oh yeah, my dog is getting beautified. Yeah, I'm the Nespresso of Kansas City. When I can't get that nitro cold brew, that's what I do. And what I do, Hope, is I make a big, tall, cold coffee or a warm coffee, and I have my almond milk, and I do my little frother. I mean, it's sort of a homemade barista when I can't get my own thing. It's great because in the game, I can just turn around in the break and start the coffee maker and turn back around and call the game. Let's see here. Oh, you were on the. Oh, I got you. See, I see what was happening. Some folks are watching on the booth cam, listening to the booth cam, and watching on the stream. That's what they were doing. Okay, that makes sense. They did have a dual. They had an ability to do triple stream last night. They told me, and they were. Paul was phenomenal. The young man up there was great, and he was apologizing. Hey, it's not your. It's all good, man. They didn't have the long enough cable to do all three, and I loaned them my cable to get both of them on, which helped the association out. So, but I was like, hey, they have the same TriCaster we have, where we can try stream. So yeah, so you sync it with yeah, the audio was not that was not an error on our part. That was just they had already scheduled all three streams, but didn't have the proper cabling. And so we are the one that the next time we're the association game of the week and we're on the road, they can only stream two. We get the boot. The radio of the visiting team gets the boot. And that's what would have sort of happened last night. And I was expecting it to happen before the ball game until I got there. And they said, oh yeah, you should be fine. And, oh wait, we don't have long enough cable. And so I helped them sort it out. All good. Yes, you're my coffee delivery person. That's correct. Let's see here. Yes, glad to have some pics of Max available tonight in the chat. Hopefully so. Do that for sure. All right. Back to the broadcast plans tonight. They will look like this as we will come your way from Fargo's Newman Outdoor Stadium. Interesting series here. Maybe a little bit lustered off because the fact it's a 2-game series lead. The Monarchs kind of scuffle coming in here, but don't miscount the baseball math. I'll tell you, baseball math is at play here. 2 or 3 is at play here, because what 2 or 3 does for you is give you the edge in the season series at 4 games to 2, and that's any kind of tiebreaker, that's huge. Remember, when we get down the very end, the first tiebreaker is head-to-head. If you got head-to-head against Fargo, despite them being even in the standings with you, you're basically finishing a game ahead of them. Head-to-head is very big. So I will tell you from that standpoint, which winning each game 1 game at a time is big. Number 2, winning the series is big. and especially rebounding on a road trip where you want to finish strong. And hey, you know what? It's like I said last night on the broadcast, it would not shock me for the Monarchs to win all 3 ball games. Wouldn't shock me at all. And that's the kind of team, the kind of league this is. It's really the body of work is A, and B, it also is any given series. We've seen it happen. So anyway, let's see here. I got to put not the ground, but the names up here. Let's do that here. Monarchs Mocha brought to you by the Roastery Coffee Company in Kansas City. There we go. Baseball TV tonight. Baseball TV tonight. There we go. And also the radio side, it's Mix LR tonight as well. And that's where you're going to hear the story of Buck O'Neil in 3 parts tonight. Tell you about his some stuff I didn't know that I missed about Buck O'Neil. Did you know that because there were no schools open to young black students in Sarasota, Florida in the 1920s, he was forced to move to Jacksonville and go to get his education, and eventually turn his education to baseball. And he's also a high school and early college lineman in football. I didn't know that either. Those are 2 things I learned in some research for the Buck O'Neil. So that'll be tonight, part 1, 2, and 3. And then I believe we've got a flashback moment from up here in this part of the woods. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take you to two pieces of information. One, the Monarchs playing up here against an all-star team, and then another Monarchs flashback moment as well. That'll all be coming up tonight. Yeah, the Buck O'Neil history is fantastic. You can't tell Buck O'Neil's story in just 3 parts, but this is the best I'm going to be able to do for the time being. I think probably what I'll do next year is we'll probably tell it in a week, maybe a week with Buck. Or what you really can do, and like I mentioned earlier, I think you can do this. There's enough Buck O'Neil out there that I think you could do it every night, a Buck O'Neil minute. And what I mean by that, it could be something simple as the story of Buck O'Neil, how he found Lou Brock, for example, or the story of him managing. He didn't scout, but he managed Ernie Banks. A lot of that actually, Cool Papa Bell actually found Ernie Banks, but he did manage him. There's also a really cool story. I think it's the Oscar Gamble story, I believe. And he saw Oscar Gamble as a 17-year-old kid playing down, I think in Birmingham, maybe Atlanta, somewhere down that way. And he saw this kid, he liked the way he carried himself, and he eventually becomes a big leaguer and long, 15, 18-year career, something like that. And he basically saw the kid and went down a dirt country road to find out where he's playing in a pickup game, and that's basically what he saw. There's a lot of those great stories out there, and I think we could do that next year every day, a Buck O'Neil minute or the Buck O'Neil, I don't know, we'll think of something, but I think it can be done. So, yeah, excited about that. Tyler's Amazing Balance Acts in town, too. Yeah, we know all about Tyler. He's in town. Going out tonight with a group of friends tonight. Cool, Nate. That's our friend. He tunes in a lot. And he's he balances everything. Bikes, credit cards, you name it, all that stuff. So, pretty cool to see that tonight on here at Newman Outdoor Stadium. One of my favorite places to broadcast from. Great view, great crowd night. I like what Chad Erkin does here. He's the media relations guy. Ekern should know what I say his name properly. What he does here as well. And of course, Jack Michaels, the legendary voice. Jack has the best gig in the league. He just shows up and broadcast. And he does a great job of it. He's obviously a local radio guy and does North Dakota stuff as well up at the University of North Dakota. But Jack has, Chad's team puts together the notes and things, and Jack does his broadcast prep like all broadcasters do. But all the extra things that we do, he doesn't have to deal with. And I think it shows this. I think it shows a rested, well put together broadcast, to be honest with you. But I love what Jack does and look forward to seeing him tonight. And the folks here in Fargo, I always love the atmosphere. I talk about this a lot. It reminds me of my college experience in Lubbock. These 2 towns could play each other on TV. They're long-lost siblings, I think, although the accents are very different. The Fargo accent's nowhere the same as Lubbock, but they both have a major university that's got passionate fandom, and they're both unique in their own right. And One's had a TV show made about it. One's had a song written about it. So there's that. And Buddy Holly. They got Roger Maris. We got Buddy Holly. Mac Davis. Who else? Roy Orbison. Waylon Jennings. Who else am I missing? Sure I'm missing somebody. All right, folks, glad you guys stopped by here on Monarchs Mocha, brought to you by the Roastery Coffee Company. Get you that Legend coffee there at your local, go to the Roastery Coffee Company. First of all, Price Chopper will have it, and part of those proceeds go to the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum there in Kansas City. And, of course, you can stop by, get those nitro cold brews as well. You got them in the can, or you can go down to the Roastery, one of the 6 locations there in Kansas City, get you that coffee, and get you woken up for a Monarchs broadcast tonight. All right. I've toyed with the idea of tomorrow taking you down to Fargo into town. Would you guys be up for that or not? You need to let me know. Let me know tonight in the broadcast. You want to see me? You want to see us downtown Fargo? We'll do it. You want to take the day off? We'll do it as well. And we will, because I think I might try to rebound and hit the town tomorrow and show you a little Fargo from somewhere in Fargo, especially there's good news highlights. We'll see. We'll play it by ear. All right. Never been to Fargo, Hope says. Well, maybe I can just take you and show you my booth cam, or to show you the camera what's out there. I'm not going to tell you it's a beautiful place. It's not an ugly place either. It's very flat. It's very much, it's kind of cool. So anyway. All right, everybody. Love y'all. Bring this down and bring this up and bring this down. And we will say goodbye with a 1, 2, 3, go Monarchs. Here we go. Downtown Dan, there you go. There you go. Yeah, there you go. That would be me. That would be me. Maybe we'll do it tomorrow. I don't know. If I feel rested, we'll get up and do it at noon tomorrow, and maybe we can do it at 11 tomorrow. We can do a brunch show because it's Saturday, right? Don't we get up a little early and we get sleep later and have later coffee on Saturdays? I don't know. We'll see. See if I can get my workout in today. That's the big thing. If I can do that, then we can. If I get the workout in today, we can do that tomorrow. All right. But right now, I feel like hitting the hay. All right, everybody. Love you all. See you on the broadcast tonight. Ready for the 1, 2, 3, go Monarchs. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, go Monarchs. I'll see you in the broadcast tonight, everybody. Get your sleep.